So you understand the Weekender. I told you there's a platinum version, and we actually have one with us here today. And on board the platinum, we have the owner of Scimitar. So Tommy, I thought good to meet you, mate. I thought I'd take this opportunity to explain to you guys what's going on with the platinum version. And Tommy, you're going to know a lot more about it than I. But I guess the first thing I want to convey to everyone about the two boats is that it's essentially the same platform, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So everything that we're looking at in the platinum version coming from the Weekender could just be an add-on.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the way it's been built.
Yes. Yeah, I guess it's the approach that we've taken is a modular one, so that someone can start with a Weekender and use the boat and work out exactly what they want to add to it, and then we can add that to them.
So you can even at a later stage?
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's the whole idea, is so that someone can add it to it at any point, whether it's during build or after. Interesting.
So let's come in close, guys, and let's point out all the differences that we have on this boat. And we'll just go through them one by one. And then I want to have a chat to you, Tommy, later, because this is not your only boat manufacturing business or focus. You have a lot more going on, but we're going to get to that.
Sure.
So out here on the platform, obviously it's not a hydraulic up and down. This is your own custom system, is my understanding.
It is. Yeah.
So how's this one operate?
So basically, we've got two tracks.
Yep.
That are bolted to the transom of the vessel.
Yep.
And then we have a roller mechanism that we've designed that rolls up and down in those tracks.
Is that Spectra line?
Yes.
Yep.
And a single winch. So two Spectra lines that come up to a winch that's mounted inside. So it simply lowers and raises.
Yep.
Lowers with gravity, raises with the line.
Okay. All right. So that's one possibility for tender storage and deployment. But we've got another possibility if you were to do a crane and have it up on the flybridge as well. And we actually have some of the tenders, which we're going to look at in a second, which you might be able to see in the background. So we've got some rod holders out the back here. This looks like a live bait.
Yes.
Okay. So you've got a live bait in here. And then we still have the same lockers that we saw on the other boat on either side, but we've got fresh and raw water deck wash now.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if I pointed it out in the other video. This is actually the swim shower. And the telescopic swim ladder is on the starboard side. I don't think I pointed that out before. So once we enter this part of the boat, the most obvious thing is the extra protection. So this is a whole nother piece which you've created, which adds on here. You've got solar, and it's all protected all the way around in stainless. So that's forming rigidity, but it's a grab hold.
Yes.
Yep. And we've got these aft lights here. It's all just no-nonsense stuff when I look around. And then, have I missed anything? That's all the same. We're then focusing our attention, I guess, on the seating and the whole fact that we have an open plan aft galley now is the idea. So we've got a lot more refrigeration. Dave told me that quite a few of the owners on this model are adding refrigeration units out the back here, but here's an example. So that's what you got going on in here. And then you have the lift up one just there. Could you do anything else with this seat here?
Absolutely.
Is that storage
That's
underneath?
All storage underneath there.
Got it.
So that could be another esky.
Yep.
Could be another fridge.
Okay.
And we have had clients that have purchased the Platinum model that have built a very large chest fridge and freezer that's located there.
Got it. Okay. Now I can see that we've got opening window here, and we don't have the swing open door like we saw on the other model. We now have a sliding door. So this space is completely different. Now coming close, because we've got this kitchen bench top. This looks like Corian.
It is.
This piece, I think this is clever. You just lift it out and then that concertina's across. And it will it lock in different positions? Can you just put one open?
Yes.
Yep, okay, yep. So you've got your serving window if it's cold, or you do fully open if you're in Queensland, tropical vibe, and then this just slots back in there. So now come get a load of this, guys. This is really nice. So we're stepping onto, it's like a flexi-teak flooring. Is that correct?
It's actually a vinyl product.
Okay.
Yeah, marine vinyl.
Yeah, right. I used to have some a floor in my office in Sydney when I used to sell boats, which it was also a vinyl floor, but looked like a boat floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we've used this in a few different boats. It comes in different colours and things like that.
It should just last forever.
It gives a really, really good finish.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so all storage underneath here. I'm assuming 2-burner, twin sink instead of the single now. That looks like a freezer.
Yes.
And that's a fridge. Any dishwashing options or possibilities for people?
Plenty of room.
Yep.
So
we could do a drawer dishwasher.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. All right. These windows are still the same. Okay. That hasn't changed there. But then the most obvious thing is the U-shaped settee just here. And we'll get to the head in a second. So you've got a completely different table. This is quite fancy. This is solid timber by the feel.
Yes.
And then you've got the footrests in timber as well, leather. Oh, and you've wrapped this in corian. That's nice.
That table also lowers, so you can turn this into a complete sort of day bed.
Okay. Are people wanting to do that outside as well, I wonder, or is that just complicating the matter too much?
We can do it. That table does go up and down.
Yep. Okay.
We haven't had anybody ask the question yet.
Yep.
But certainly in here, it becomes pretty popular.
There's so much air flowing through right now. Do people even request AC on this boat?
People request it when they haven't experienced it.
Yeah. Like right now.
We had it on our old one and built this one without, because we don't need it. Now,
on that point, let's talk about the lower helm. People have been requesting it, but you feel like you don't need it.
Yeah, I think particularly with the flybridge and the visibility that you get upstairs, and once you have the clears, you've got great all-weather protection up there anyway.
Yeah.
We just haven't used it much.
Yeah.
It is nice when you're coming in and docking in close quarters, because you are closer to the berth.
Yes.
And you can get in and out.
And you've probably done more cruising or driving on a Scimitar than many owners. You've driven one of these from Papua New Guinea to Australia.
Yeah.
And you do a lot of cruising locally. So you're speaking from experience.
Yeah. Yeah, we've done 350 hours on this boat in the last 12 months.
Okay.
So about 3,000 miles.
Yeah, interesting. So obviously this is your steering. That's your throttles. You've got engine starts just here and VHF and a multifunctional just here. So you've got everything you need. And you've done these sun blockouts as well. And I like how you install these internally so you don't have to muck around putting an external mesh on, which is just difficult. So, okay, cool. Let's just poke our head down into the accommodation. So, is there any differences that are immediately obvious down here? Shelving?
Main difference is the flooring finishes.
Yes. It's a little bit softer. What would you call this flooring?
It's a woven vinyl.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the storage under the bunks with gas struts, additional shelving.
Okay.
Light switching and charge points.
Yep. Okay. Nice. Let's go check out the other side. And so you've got the bigger motors in this boat.
So this has got the Yanmar 4LV.
Yep.
195 horsepower.
Okay. So we're adding a lot of weight.
Yes.
Or are we? You know, is it a huge amount of weight? Because that T-top upstairs must weigh a bit too. Okay, so we've got some side tables there. Same shelving. And gas struts again. Okay. For your storage in there. So do you find the bigger horsepower is an absolute must?
No. No, I think if you can follow the motto of add less weight.
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing.
Okay. A few little convenient areas. Because we were cruising ultra efficiently at that 12 knot speed. I mean, I was laughing looking at the fuel burn. I burn a lot of fuel on this channel.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy to. It's enjoyable. But that was incredible. Like, doing 12 knots and then just doing, you know, sitting on 16 knots, you're moving, and it was super efficient. And what I really noticed on acceleration, the boat, it doesn't hang its ass at all. It's just a flat level acceleration onto plane, and you've got those deflectors there on the bow, which is sending a lot of the wash out. So it just feels efficient.
The other key thing on the Weekender is we have fixed interceptors on the transom, which provide lift as soon as you're above about 10 knots. So they really pick the back of the boat up, and help to make it run level. So
to explain that to everyone, it's essentially like a fixed trim tab.
Essentially,
just sending the water down and giving you lift. So instead of doing that, okay.
And on this boat, we have the computer-controlled ones.
Okay.
So they're fully
like zip wakes.
Zip wakes.
Yep. I understand.
So roll reduction and trim.
So they're the ones that drop down.
Correct.
At the back like that. Yeah, interesting. Okay, let's have a look in the head, because there's a couple of differences in here. I see. We've got a proper shower. Oh, this is completely different. All right. Okay. Yeah, the women are probably going to like this one. I wonder if you could just so you can just slot this head unit into the Weekender.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of
the space is actually the same.
Yeah,
it's the same space.
Yeah, that's chalk and cheese. I think that's one area. You've even got the black tapware. Pass me the camera. I'll just show you guys. It's really changes the space with the flooring and going black for the shower curtain there, and like so. Simple, but totally changes it. Yeah, it is. And we're on teak stairs now. So this is the can crusher for anyone looking from outside Australia. That's essential Queensland equipment, isn't it?
Standard fitment.
For tinnies. Okay, so let's see. All right, so we've got hard roof, full structure, clears. We're in an enclosure now, as opposed to we're going to look at the other one right there, as opposed to really just sun protection.
Quite easy to add the clears to that.
Oh, absolutely. I think any owner who's driving south of Queensland would want that. But you can still get away with that whole layout quite happily. Definitely in Queensland, and for New South Wales, all I would do is add some clears.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
So, okay, what else are we noticing? We've got a much more upgraded display here with twin flat screens. Oh, you've added a flare. Is that for night running?
Yeah.
And you want to see fishermen's pots?
To be honest, a lot of it for us when we head north, as soon as we get to Hervey Bay, it's the whales. And Moreton Bay.
Okay.
When we're heading out of the bay. During whale season, makes a huge difference.
Fair enough. Yeah, because I'm finding them quite handy in some of the different parts of the world, but it's fisherman's gear.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm looking out for, and also unlit vessels.
Yes.
In many countries I'm exploring now, people just don't light their boats.
Yeah, I know. The good thing is that sort of technology now is becoming in reach for the average boater.
Yeah. It's easy to use
with
too.
the low light cameras.
Yeah.
This one's just fixed dead ahead.
Okay.
And we can pull it up on the screen. It's probably not switched on now, but we can just choose a screen. And I can just bring up the flare on there, and
perfect.
It's so good.
But I've even used ones that'll scan left and right for me, and you can set it on scan or set it on fixed forward, or I can draw wherever I want it to go. And if you're cruising along high speed, that's super handy. So you've got engine diagnostics just there. That's your zip wake. Auto anchor.
Stereo. That's the steering system. So this has the Seastar Optimus.
Oh, you got Optimus steering.
Electro-hydraulic steering.
Oh, okay. So you'd have a rudder angle indicator on that
Absolutely.
as well? Yep. Okay, so look, that's...
And we also have rudder angle indicator on the autopilot.
Yep. That would be handy on the Weekender. But you could just fit an autopilot.
Absolutely. And that'll give you the indicator.
Yeah. because that's if you don't know where your rudders are. I mean, you can always just count the turns, but if it's in a close quarters scenario, it just could get confusing. That's the only thing. So I think your tip, Dave, of just using the throttles, which is the key to success on driving these things, that's going to be one of the main points if anyone's coming from a mono hull, and especially if you've had an outboard powered boat before where you're so naturally used to doing this, you just got to retrain your brain a little bit to get that hand on your waist and just do throttles. Or you know, if you're slow and careful, you could do both hands on the throttles. It seems logical. Yeah.
Yeah, another key thing that we've added on this boat is a large full-length drawer. Where we can store rods. Any equipment.
Yep.
Other things.
Okay.
So we've got that on both sides.
And the solar array. The solar array is huge. So you've designed this for full off-grid.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so no generator on board.
Yep.
So we have 2 kilowatts of solar.
Yep.
800 amp hours of lithium.
Yep.
And then we have 160 amps of DC-DC charges off the main engines. So as long as the engines are running and the alternators on the engines are working, then we can charge our house bank from the engines.
Okay. Okay. And where are those batteries? Are they still in the saloon?
They are.
Okay.
Yep. So they're in their own compartment.
Yep.
We've got a dedicated electrical compartment in the saloon there.
Yep.
And then we can monitor it here from the wheelhouse or from the bridge, if you like.
Yep.
So that's telling us exactly what's happening on the.
And I saw you have the other Victron display downstairs. I also noticed, we didn't point it out below before, but you can activate your power to all the batteries from the saloon as well, rather than having to go into the engine bay and physically turn on the crank battery switches. So that's
we also have the ability to go in the engine room and physically turn them.
Okay.
You know, for those that are not completely sold on remote switching and digital switching.
Yep. Okay.
So we've tried to keep the manual element.
The keep it simple, stupid method. Correct. This is what you're going for.
Yeah.
I can tell. Yeah. These will be perfect for in survey.
Yes.
So will you build them for AMSA survey?
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
Yeah, right.
And there's a couple of them. I think there's maybe only still one left in the Whitsundays.
Yep.
In Hiram Drive.
Yep.
There is one on Sydney Harbour that's actually a charter vessel.
Yep.
Passenger charter. And we've had a few inquiries actually during the course of the Sanctuary Code Boat Show of people looking for commercial versions.
Interesting. So a bit more solar out the back there. Anything else? The railings. They're different.
So a slightly larger diameter rail.
Yep.
And we also continue them all the way down the side.
Yeah, okay.
So it's worth walking up and down that side because it does make it feel...
Let's go and have a look.
A fair bit different there, I feel like.
Let's go and have a look. Yeah, because I was commenting on this boat that if you were older and slightly less confident underfoot, that there'd be a technique to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Okay. That's chalk and cheese, isn't it?
Yep.
Come and have a look, guys. So from here, you step up, you got the grab handle just here, but this railing starts there. So you can just slide your body along the railing and hold onto this one, and you're not going anywhere. I see you put stainless chain.
Yes.
These anchors are great, aren't they?
Aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we run, I think, 60 metres of chain.
Right. Okay.
Because we're anchoring a lot.
Do you ever use a stern anchor?
Yep.
So where do you stow that? Yeah, right. Perfect.
Yep.
Okay, I've figured you'd have space for that.
Yeah.
Fascinating. So is there anything else that we've missed on the Platinum? Okay, so you've got outriggers.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Really is a bit of a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, it totally is. It totally is. But it has everything the boys are going to want in a big boat, but it's going to keep both of them are going to keep a family really happy for a week or more on board if you wanted.
Absolutely.
You know, you've got the space, you've got the range, you've got the stability. It's going to keep the women happy who, like if you're prone to seasickness, this is a boat to look at.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to rock around.
No.
And if you want that platform to go somewhere beautiful and hang out, that's this.
Yeah, and I think, you know, having such a shallow draft that's protected, it means that when the weather isn't great, you can get that much closer to shore.
Yeah.
So you're already in calmer conditions. And
you've
got the stability that
go to the best spots.
That makes it.
So, talking about going to the best spots, let's talk about this cool tender. Which one's the best one to look at? Maybe we'll look at the one out of the water.
Here, I can move it if you like. It's on wheels there. We can move it somewhere that it's a bit more.
So this is it called the 375?
Yep. We actually colloquially call it the Scimitar.
Let's put it in the sun. The Scimitar. That's a cool name. So, okay, there's another brand of tender that I am a fan of, offshore cruising tenders in New Zealand.
The OC, yeah.
Yeah, and this gives me similar vibes, but obviously it's a multi-hull.
Yeah.
And I have used one of those OCs before. One of my clients bought one. It was just a great piece of kit because you have all of this available space that you're not wasting with tubes.
Yeah.
And if you're a cruiser and you want to load the thing up with stuff and use it like a bit of a ute, it's great. And so you just did give me a go of not this one, the one with the engine on it. They go better with engines. And it's great. It rips along. It's a stable little platform. It gets
super
along,
stable.
but
super stable.
It moves. I wasn't checking my speed, but I felt like I was doing 22 knots.
Yep.
Maybe faster. What's the horsepower on the back of that thing?
So that one has a 30,
yep,
which is sort of the biggest. But this one, which is the tender for this vessel, we have a 4 on it.
Right.
And that gets 3 of us going, no problem at all.
Really?
They are extremely efficient. So this boat as it sits here is 90 kilograms.
Yep.
For the hull. Probably one of the 2 biggest advantages is the stability.
Yep.
Because you can stand on the side and it's not going over.
Yep. And
a self-draining deck.
Yeah.
So when you leave it in the water overnight alongside the boat and you have a rain squall,
you don't have to come and bail it out.
See,
guys, so all the water, it's going to make its way down here and then just out that scupper just there. That is a big thing. If you've had a tender floating in the water next to your cruising yacht and a rainstorm, I've seen that many times in Sydney, and I've had to bail them out to pain. But this is handy as a little boarding platform. I used this just stepping off, and with this foam around here, as I came alongside, I touched up on that. There was no risk at all of damaging the main boat, and then nice proper cleats. You know,
we've got lifting lugs in there as well for those that want to lift with a crane.
Okay.
So if you are going to lift up on top of the boat,
yep,
then you can do that easily.
Yep.
And quite a few of our owners have got those.
So when we look at this now sort of gives people a few options of towing. So you could just keep it simple. This is a proper ute of the water.
Yep.
So you could just tow this behind you. I would just get it on the second wave behind the boat, so it's not surfing, just hanging on, just climbing the wave. And here you go. These U-bolts just here. Could you just tow from these?
Yep.
That's option 1. And then option 2 is obviously going for the drop-down platform.
Yep.
Like this. But I guess the consideration for people is hanging weight on the back.
Yep.
And that's now going to change the performance. What do you reckon about that?
Yeah, so it definitely is a benefit if you can bring that weight a little bit further forward. But on this vessel, we've got the active interceptors,
yep,
which account for that when you're running at speed.
Okay.
So you can pick the back of the boat up.
Okay.
The other 2 options that we've got is we can put fixed or folding davits across the back here.
Yep.
That can either hinge down to pick the dinghy up.
Yep.
And you can do that with a fixed platform.
Yep.
Or we can put a small davit crane and change this fixed awning.
Yep.
To a structural one.
Yep.
That allows you to put the dinghy on top.
So I guess, you know, the user, you guys need to ask yourself, what's more important to me? Do I want to be dropping anchor and using the platform to swim, to deploy lily pads, that sort of thing, and put the big tender in the water occasionally, or am I always wanting to deploy the tender? So you just got to ask yourself the question, what's more important to me? Is having the tender in the water and using it straight away my priority, or is it doing other things? So that's interesting. Okay, well, fascinating. I think this is a project to look at. I think we should continue this conversation. We might end it here for you guys on YouTube, but we'll keep this conversation going over on Patreon because I want to talk about everything else you got going on, because it's quite the story. You build big commercial boats.
Sure do.
So, and you've got you're not the original owner of the company,
no,
but you know him, and he lives down the road.
He does.
And there's some history to all this. So for those of you on Patreon, we're going to keep this conversation going. Everyone else, jump into the comments. Let me know what you like, what you don't like, and your thoughts on this brand, because I think there's a lot of you who perhaps have sailed monohulls or even sailing cats, that if you can put your mindset into a power cat, you're going to enjoy a lot more time on the water. You're going to be able to extend your boating years in something like this in a pleasurable way. And I've done a lot of sailing. If you compare it to maintaining a rig and buying new sails, you're burning a tiny amount of diesel compared to what we just saw today. You can maintain these motors yourself. So the cost, it's probably going to be less than a big, expensive sailing cat. Leave that thought with you. See you on the next one.